Here is a new episode of Building Battle, my dear friends. It's Noob from Minecraft with you. Today I'm going to make a building challenge of Herobrine statue with my friends Bro, Hacker, and God. And while I will build it, I would like to tell you one breathtaking story about a mysterious man with white eyes. He lives in the forest and does strange things there. Also, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to my channel. Let's build! In the heart of a dense forest, shrouded in mystery and whispered legends, lies the domain of Herobrine, a mysterious man with piercing white eyes. Some say he is a guardian spirit, while others believe him to be an ancient entity watching over the woods. His presence is felt by all who dare to venture into the depths of the forest, where strange occurrences and unexplained phenomena abound. This is the story of Herobrine's haunting forest, where two siblings, Alex and Steve, find themselves drawn into a world of secrets and enigmas, unraveling the mysteries that lie within. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting long shadows across the forest floor, Alex and Steve set out on their adventure. The dense foliage seemed to swallow them whole as they ventured deeper into the woods, guided only by the faint glow of fireflies. The air was thick with an eerie silence, broken only by the occasional rustle of leaves and distant hoots of owls. They couldn't shake the feeling that they were being watched, but curiosity drove them forward. The brothers had heard tales of Herobrine, a mysterious figure with white eyes said to inhabit the deepest parts of the forest. Some villagers spoke of him as a protector, while others warned of his sinister nature. As they walked, they exchanged nervous glances, wondering what they would find in the heart of the woods. As they ventured deeper into the forest, they stumbled upon an ancient shrine, its stones weathered by time. At its center stood a statue of a figure with white eyes, Herobrine. Its gaze seemed to follow them as they approached, sending shivers down their spines. Legends spoke of Herobrine as a guardian of the forest, but his intentions remained a mystery. Alex and Steve couldn't help but wonder what secrets the statue held. The statue was surrounded by offerings, flowers, fruits, and small trinkets left by those seeking the guardian's protection. Steve reached out to touch the statue, but Alex stopped him, a sense of foreboding washing over him. Something about the statue felt alive, as if it held a secret that could change everything they knew about the forest. As they continued their journey, strange phenomena began to unfold around them. Trees seemed to shift and move when they weren't looking, and whispers echoed through the underbrush. Shadows danced in the moonlight, taking on sinister shapes that sent chills down their spines. It was as if the forest itself was alive, watching their every move. The brothers tried to make sense of the strange occurrences, but the more they tried to rationalize them, the more elusive the answers became. They felt a growing sense of unease, a feeling that they were being drawn deeper into a mystery that defied explanation. Their curiosity piqued, Alex and Steve sought to uncover the truth about Herobrine. They delved into the forest's history, piecing together fragments of stories and legends. Some spoke of Herobrine as a benevolent protector, while others warned of his malevolent nature. The more they learned, the more the mystery deepened, drawing them further into the forest's embrace. They found old manuscripts and scrolls hidden in the depths of the forest, each offering a different perspective on Herobrine. Some depicted him as a savior, protecting the forest from harm, while others painted him as a vengeful spirit, punishing those who dared to trespass in his domain. The conflicting accounts only added to their confusion, leaving them with more questions than answers. As they delved deeper into the forest, Herobrine's presence became more pronounced. They began to see glimpses of him in the shadows, his white eyes piercing the darkness. His figure seemed to flicker in and out of existence, leaving them questioning their own sanity. The forest seemed to bend to his will, its very essence shaped by his enigmatic presence. They stumbled upon a clearing where the trees formed a natural amphitheater. In the center stood a stone altar, its surface etched with symbols they couldn't decipher. They felt a strange energy emanating from the altar, as if it held a power that transcended their understanding. It was a place of great significance, a place where the forest and Herobrine seemed to converge. Driven by their relentless curiosity, Alex and Steve resolved to confront Herobrine. They sought out the heart of the forest, where rumors spoke of his dwelling. The air grew colder as they ventured deeper, and the forest seemed to grow denser around them. They knew they were approaching the epicenter of the mystery that had consumed their thoughts and dreams. As they reached the heart of the forest, they felt a palpable sense of tension in the air. The very atmosphere seemed to crackle with energy, as if the forest itself was holding its breath. They knew they were on the verge of uncovering the truth, but they also knew that the truth might be more than they bargained for. As they reached the heart of the forest, they found themselves face to face with Herobrine. His presence was overwhelming, his white eyes shining with an otherworldly light. He spoke in a voice that seemed to come from all around them, cryptic words that hinted at ancient truths. Alex and Steve felt a mixture of fear and awe as they listened, realizing they were in the presence of something far beyond their understanding. Herobrine revealed himself to be a guardian of the forest, tasked with maintaining its balance and harmony. His white eyes were a symbol of his connection to the ancient spirits of the forest, a reminder of the cyclical nature of life and death. He explained that the strange occurrences they had witnessed were the forest's way of testing them, of determining whether they were worthy of its secrets. In the presence of Herobrine, Alex and Steve learned the true nature of the forest and its guardian. Herobrine was neither benevolent nor malevolent but a force of balance, maintaining the delicate equilibrium of the natural world. His white eyes were a symbol of his connection to the ancient spirits of the forest, a reminder of the cyclical nature of life and death. As they emerged from the forest, they carried with them a newfound respect for the mysteries of the world and a deeper understanding of themselves. As they emerged from the heart of the forest, Alex and Steve felt changed. The forest had imparted upon them a wisdom that transcended words, a sense of interconnectedness with the natural world. They knew that they would never forget their encounter with Herobrine and the lessons they had learned in the depths of the woods.
I'm happy to see you again, my friends. It is me, Pro from Minecraft. I'm happy to see you again. My friend Noob made very cool statue of Herobrine, but I will try to build it even more interesting. And while I do this, I will continue to tell you a mystical story about Herobrine. Also like this video and subscribe to the channel. Let's start building. They returned to their village with a newfound sense of purpose, determined to share their experiences with others. They spoke of the forest's beauty and its secrets, urging others to respect and protect the natural world. Their words carried a weight that resonated with all who heard them, planting seeds of understanding and reverence for the world around them. Months passed, and life in the village returned to normal. Alex and Steve often found themselves drawn back to the edge of the forest, where they would sit and listen to the sounds of nature. They knew that Herobrine was still out there, watching over the woods, and they took comfort in the knowledge that the forest was in good hands. As they looked out over the trees, they felt a sense of peace settle over them. They knew that they had been forever changed by their encounter with Herobrine and the haunting forest. They had learned that sometimes the greatest mysteries are not meant to be solved, but to be experienced and cherished. And as they turned to leave, they knew that they would always carry a piece of the forest with them, wherever they went. Years went by, but the memory of their adventure in the forest never faded from Alex and Steve's minds. As they grew older, they found themselves reminiscing about the lessons they had learned and the bond they had formed with the natural world. Life had taken them on different paths, but the forest remained a constant presence in their hearts. They often found themselves returning to the edge of the forest, seeking solace in its familiar embrace. The trees whispered stories of ages past, and the wind carried with it a sense of wisdom that only nature could impart. They knew that the forest held secrets beyond their understanding, but they also knew that those secrets were not meant to be unraveled, but to be respected and revered. As time passed, Alex and Steve had families of their own. They regaled their children with tales of Herobrine and the haunting forest, passing down the wisdom they had gained from their adventure. Their children listened with wide eyes, Captivated by the stories of mystery and intrigue, they'd have felt the pull of the forest, its ancient allure calling to them from beyond the village. Together, they ventured into the woods, guided by the stories of their parents and the whispers of the trees. They felt the same sense of wonder and awe that Alex and Steve had felt so many years ago, as if the forest was welcoming them into its embrace. They knew that the legacy of Herobrine and the haunting forest would live on through them, passed down from generation to generation. As the years passed, the world outside the forest changed, technology advanced, and the village grew, encroaching on the edges of the woods. Some feared that the forest would be lost to progress, but Alex and Steve knew that the spirit of the forest was strong. They worked tirelessly to preserve its beauty, advocating for its protection and educating others about its importance. The forest remained a place of solace and sanctuary for those who sought it, a reminder of the natural world's enduring presence in an ever-changing world. Its mysteries continued to captivate the hearts and minds of those who dared to venture into its depths, ensuring that its legacy would live on for generations to come. As they grew older, Alex and Steve knew that their time in the forest was drawing to a close. They had lived a full life, filled with adventure and wonder. But the call of the forest grew stronger with each passing day. They knew that soon they would return to the woods one last time, to bid farewell to the place that had shaped them in ways they could never have imagined. On a bright summer day, they made their way to the edge of the forest. Their steps slow but determined, they felt the familiar pull of the woods, welcoming them back like old friends. As they entered the shade of the trees, a sense of peace settled over them, and they knew that they had come home. As Alex and Steve ventured deeper into the forest, they felt a sense of contentment wash over them. They knew that their time in the forest had come to an end, but they also knew that their story was just one chapter in the never-ending tale of the haunting forest. Their legacy would live on through their children and their children's children, passed down through the ages like the whispers of the wind. As they reached the heart of the forest, they felt a sense of gratitude for all that the woods had given them. They had learned that there is magic in the world if you know where to look, and that sometimes the greatest adventures are the ones that take place in the quiet moments between heartbeats. And as they stood there, surrounded by the ancient trees and the gentle rustling of leaves, they knew that they would always be a part of the haunting forest, just as it would always be a part of them. As Alex and Steve ventured deeper into the heart of the forest, they felt a sense of peace settle over them. The trees whispered secrets of ages past, and the air was filled with the sweet scent of pine. They knew that this would be their final journey into the woods, a farewell to the place that had been their sanctuary for so long. They reached a familiar clearing, where the sunlight filtered through the canopy, casting dappled patterns on the forest floor. Here, they made their final stand, surrounded by the beauty and majesty of the woods they had come to love. They felt a sense of gratitude for all that the forest had given them, and a deep sadness at the thought of leaving it behind. As they stood in the clearing, surrounded by the quiet murmurs of the forest, Alex and Steve knew that their time had come. They had lived a life filled with adventure and wonder, but now it was time to say goodbye. They looked out over the trees, feeling a deep sense of peace settle over them. They knew that their legacy would live on in the hearts of those they had touched, and in the whispers of the wind that would carry their story through the ages. They spoke words of thanks to the forest for all that it had given them and all that it had taught them. They knew that they would carry the memories of their time in the woods with them forever, a reminder of the beauty and mystery of the natural world. And as they turned to leave, they knew that they would always be a part of the haunting forest, just as it would always be a part of them. As Alex and Steve made their way back to the village, they felt a sense of peace settle over them. The forest had given them so much, and now it was time to return to the world outside its borders. They knew that they would carry the spirit of the forest with them wherever they went, a guiding light in times of darkness. They returned to the village, where they were greeted by friends and family who had gathered to bid them farewell. They shared stories of their adventures in the forest, weaving tales of mystery and wonder that captivated all who listened. They knew that their time in the forest had changed them, and they were grateful for the experiences that had shaped them into who they had become. As Alex and Steve settled back into life in the village, they knew that their adventure in the forest had come to an end, but they also knew that it was just the beginning of a new chapter in their lives. They had learned that there was magic in the world if you knew where to look, and that sometimes the greatest adventures were the ones that took place within the heart. They continued to share their stories with anyone who would listen, passing down the wisdom they had gained from their time in the forest. They knew that the haunting forest would always be a part of them, a place of mystery and wonder that had shaped them in ways they could never have imagined. And as they looked out over the village, they knew that they were home, surrounded by the love and beauty of the world they had come to cherish. As Alex and Steve shared their stories with the younger generation, they saw a spark of curiosity ignite in their eyes. The children listened with rapt attention, hanging on every word as if the forest itself was speaking through them. Alex and Steve knew that the time had come to pass the torch, to entrust the legacy of the haunting forest to the next generation. They took the children on walks through the woods, pointing out the hidden wonders and teaching them to listen to the whispers of the trees. They knew that the forest had a way of speaking to those who were willing to listen, and they hoped that the children would carry on their legacy with the same reverence and respect. As the years passed, Alex and Steve watched as the children grew into adults, their love for the forest never wavering. They knew that the circle of life was continuing, that just as they had been inspired by the forest, so too were the next generation. They took comfort in knowing that the haunting forest would always be a place of wonder and mystery, a sanctuary for those seeking solace and wisdom. They continued to visit the woods, their steps a little slower now, but their hearts no less full. They knew that the forest would always be a part of them, woven into the fabric of their being like the roots of the ancient trees. And as they sat beneath the canopy, listening to the symphony of nature around them, they felt a deep sense of peace settle over them. They knew that they had been blessed by the haunting forest, and that its legacy would live on through them and all who came after. As Alex and Steve looked back on their lives, they realized that the haunting forest had given them more than they could have ever imagined. It had given them a legacy of love for each other, for the natural world, and for the mysteries that lie beyond human understanding. They knew that their time in the forest had shaped them in ways that would last a lifetime, and they were grateful for every moment they had spent within its embrace. They shared their stories with anyone who would listen, hoping to inspire others to seek out the magic that they had found in the woods. They knew that the world was full of wonders waiting to be discovered, and they encouraged everyone they met to embrace the unknown with open hearts and open minds. As they grew older, Alex and Steve found comfort in the changing seasons of life. They knew that nothing in this world was permanent, not even the haunting forest. They watched as the trees shed their leaves in the autumn, only to bloom again in the spring. And they realized that life was a cycle of beginnings and endings, each one as beautiful as the last. They embraced the changes that came with age, knowing that each wrinkle and gray hair was a testament to a life well lived. They continued to visit the forest, their steps slower now, but their hearts no less full. They knew that the haunting forest would always be there for them, a place of solace and sanctuary in a world that was constantly changing. As their time on this earth drew to a close, Alex and Steve knew that they had one final journey to make. They returned to the haunting forest one last time, their steps steady, but their hearts heavy with the knowledge that this would be their final farewell. They walked through the familiar paths, drinking in the sights and sounds that had become so dear to them over the years. They reached the clearing where they had first encountered Herobrine, and they felt a sense of peace settle over them. They knew that their time in the forest had come full circle, and they were grateful for every moment they had spent there. As they looked out over the trees, they felt a deep sense of gratitude for the life they had lived and the love they had shared. And as they turned to leave, they knew that they would always carry a piece of the haunting forest with them, wherever they went. As Alex and Steve made their way out of the haunting forest for the last time, they felt a sense of both sadness and peace wash over them. The trees whispered their farewells, and the wind carried with it a gentle sigh, as if the forest itself was bidding them goodbye. They knew that they were leaving behind a place that had been their home in a way no other place had been, and their hearts were heavy with the weight of that knowledge. But as they stepped beyond the edge of the woods, they also felt a sense of gratitude for all that the haunting forest had given them. It had been a place of mystery and wonder, a sanctuary in times of trouble, and a source of inspiration and wisdom. Its lessons would stay with them forever, etched into their hearts like the lines on a map.
it's me, Hacker from Minecraft. My friend Pro have made some very interesting Herobrine statue build, but we should show them how professional hackers build it. And while I'm building, I'll continue to tell you the breathtaking story. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Let's go! As Alex and Steve return to their village, they knew that their time in the haunting forest had come to an end, but they also knew that its legacy would live on through them and all those whose lives they had touched. They shared their stories with the villagers, passing on the wisdom they had gained from their time in the woods. They knew that the haunting forest would always be a part of them, and they hoped that its spirit would continue to inspire others for generations to come. The villagers listened with awe and reverence, hanging on to every word as if they were hearing a tale from a distant land. They knew that the haunting forest was a place of magic and mystery, and they felt privileged to have been touched by its presence through Alex and Steve's stories. As time passed, Alex and Steve watched as the seasons changed and life in the village went on. They knew that the haunting forest would always be there, its ancient trees standing tall and proud, its mysteries waiting to be discovered by those who were willing to seek them out. They took comfort in the knowledge that the cycle of life would continue, that just as they had been inspired by the forest, so too would others in the future. They spent their days in quiet reflection, grateful for the memories they had made and the lessons they had learned. And as they looked out over the village, they knew that they had been blessed by their time in the haunting forest. It had been a journey, unlike any other, and they were grateful for every step of the way. As Alex and Steve looked out over the village, they felt a sense of peace settle over them. They knew that their time in the haunting forest had come to an end, but they also knew that it was the beginning of a new chapter in their lives. They had been forever changed by their experiences, and they were grateful for the journey that had brought them to this moment. They knew that the haunting forest would always be a part of them, a place of mystery and wonder that had shaped them in ways they could never have imagined. And as they looked out over the village, they knew that they were home, surrounded by the love and beauty of the world they had come to cherish. As Alex and Steve settled back into life in the village, they carried with them the wisdom they had gained from the haunting forest. They found joy in the simple pleasures of everyday life, but they also knew that there was magic in the world if you knew where to look. They shared their stories with anyone who would listen, passing on the lessons they had learned to a new generation. The villagers listened with reverence, hanging on to every word as if it were a precious gift. They knew that the haunting forest was a place of mystery and wonder, and they felt privileged to have been touched by its presence through Alex and Steve's stories. They took the lessons of the woods to heart, carrying them with them in their daily lives. As time passed, Alex and Steve watched as the children of the village grew into adults, their love for the natural world never wavering. They knew that the legacy of the haunting forest would live on through them, passed down from generation to generation. They took comfort in knowing that the lessons they had learned would continue to inspire others. Long after they were gone, they continued to visit the woods, their steps slower now but their hearts no less full. They knew that the haunting forest would always be there for them, a place of solace and sanctuary in a world that was constantly changing. And as they sat beneath the canopy, listening to the symphony of nature around them, they felt a deep sense of peace settle over them. They knew that they had been blessed by the haunting forest, and that its legacy would live on through them and all who came after. As Alex and Steve looked back on their lives, they felt a sense of gratitude for the journey they had been on. The haunting forest had given them so much a sense of wonder, a connection to the natural world, and a legacy that would live on long after they were gone. They knew that they had been forever changed by their experiences, and they were grateful for every moment they had spent within its embrace. As they looked out over the village, they knew that they had found their place in the world. They had been blessed by the haunting forest, and they knew that its spirit would continue to inspire them for the rest of their days. And as they turned to leave, they knew that they would always carry a piece of the haunting forest with them wherever they went. As Alex and Steve reflected on their lives, they realized how much the haunting forest had shaped them. It had taught them to appreciate the beauty of nature, to listen to the whispers of the wind, and to find joy in the simplest of things. They knew that they had been blessed by their time in the woods, and they were grateful for the memories they had made. They shared their stories with others, hoping to inspire them to seek out the magic of the natural world. They knew that the haunting forest had given them a gift that was meant to be shared, and they were determined to pass it on to others. As they looked back on their lives, they knew that they had lived a life filled with adventure and wonder, and they were grateful for every moment of it. As Alex and Steve looked towards the future, they knew that there were still adventures waiting to be had. They knew that the haunting forest would always be there, a place of refuge and inspiration in times of need. They were grateful for the lessons it had taught them, and they knew that they would carry those lessons with them wherever they went. They continued to visit the woods, their steps slower now, but their hearts no less full. They knew that the haunting forest would always be a part of them, a place of mystery and wonder that had shaped them in ways they could never have imagined. And as they looked out over the village, they knew that they were home, surrounded by the love and beauty of the world they had come to cherish. As Alex and Steve grew older, they knew that their time in the haunting forest was coming to an end. But they also knew that its legacy would live on through them and all those whose lives they had touched. They continued to share their stories with the villagers, passing on the wisdom they had gained from their time in the woods. They knew that the haunting forest would always be a part of them, a place of mystery and wonder that had shaped them in ways they could never have imagined. And as they looked out over the village, they knew that they had been blessed by their time in the haunting forest. It had been a journey unlike any other, and they were grateful for every step of the way. As Alex and Steve approached the twilight of their lives, they realized that their time in the haunting forest had left an indelible mark on their souls. They had learned to appreciate the fleeting beauty of nature, to find solace in its quiet embrace, and to understand that the mysteries of the world were sometimes meant to be cherished rather than solved. Their stories had inspired others to seek out their own adventures, to look for the magic in the world around them. They knew that the haunting forest would live on in the hearts of those who had listened to their tales, and that its legacy would continue to shape the lives of future generations. As Alex and Steve bid farewell to the haunting forest, they felt a sense of gratitude for all that it had given them. They had been blessed with a lifetime of memories, each one a testament to the beauty and wonder of the natural world. They knew that they would carry those memories with them wherever they went, a reminder of the magic that had touched their lives. As they turned to leave, they knew that the haunting forest would always hold a special place in their hearts. Its mysteries would continue to inspire them, even as they ventured into the unknown of their final journey, and as they walked away, they felt a sense of peace settle over them, knowing that they had been forever changed by their time in the haunting forest. As Alex and Steve left the haunting forest behind, they knew that their journey was far from over. They carried with them the wisdom and memories of their time in the woods, a source of strength and inspiration for the road ahead. They were grateful for the lessons they had learned, and they knew that they would carry the spirit of the haunting forest with them wherever they went. They looked forward to the adventures that lay ahead, knowing that the haunting forest had prepared them well for whatever challenges they might face. They knew that they would always be connected to the natural world, no matter where their journey took them, and they were grateful for the deep sense of belonging that the haunting forest had given them. As Alex and Steve continued their journey, they realized that the haunting forest had given them a legacy of love. It had taught them to appreciate the beauty of the world around them, to find joy in the simplest of things, and to cherish the moments they had with each other. They knew that the haunting forest had shaped them in ways they could never have imagined, and they were grateful for the deep sense of connection it had given them. They carried the memories of their time in the woods with them, a source of comfort and strength as they ventured into the unknown. They knew that they would always be guided by the lessons they had learned, and that the haunting forest would always be a part of who they were. As Alex and Steve looked ahead to the future, they knew that the haunting forest would always be a part of their story. Its mysteries had become a part of them.
Well, what cool buildings my friends have made. I like them very much. And you? I hope so too. I should also show them how to make the statue of Herobrine building. Well, at the same time, I will continue the story, woven into the fabric of their lives like the roots of the ancient trees. They knew that they would always carry a piece of the haunting forest with them, wherever they went. And they were grateful for the deep sense of connection it had given them. They looked forward to the adventures that lay ahead, knowing that the haunting forest had prepared them well for whatever challenges they might face. They knew that their journey was far from over, and they were excited to see where the road would take them next. And as they ventured into the unknown, they knew that the haunting forest would always be there, a source of inspiration and strength for the journey ahead. As Alex and Steve continued their journey, they embraced the changes that life brought their way. They knew that the haunting forest had taught them to adapt to the ebb and flow of life, to find beauty in every season, and to embrace the unknown with courage and grace. They carried with them the lessons they had learned, knowing that the haunting forest had prepared them well for the challenges that lay ahead. They found joy in the simple moments, in the laughter of friends, and in the beauty of the natural world. They knew that life was a journey filled with twists and turns, and they were grateful for the wisdom the haunting forest had given them to navigate its path. As Alex and Steve looked back on their lives, they felt a deep sense of gratitude for the journey they had been on. The haunting forest had given them so much a sense of wonder, a connection to the natural world, and a legacy that would live on long after they were gone. They knew that they had been forever changed by their experiences, and they were grateful for every moment they had spent within its embrace. They knew that the haunting forest had left an indelible mark on their souls, shaping them into the people they had become. They carried with them the memories of their time in the woods, a source of comfort and inspiration for the road ahead. And as they looked forward to the adventures that lay ahead, they knew that the haunting forest would always be a part of them, guiding them with its wisdom and grace. As Alex and Steve continued their journey, they took time to reflect on the lessons they had learned. They knew that the haunting forest had given them a deep appreciation for the beauty of the natural world and a profound sense of connection to all living things.